One of the things I always think about, particularly, and this is why I read history, um, is what our ancestors would think if they looked at the way we were living. And there's so many people on Instagram right now that are like, well, everybody's soft, everybody's, whatever. I think, and this is the thing, even those of us who think we're really hard are actually soft compared to people who existed previously in history. And we think a lot about, you know, where we are in life and whether or not we're at where we want to be. And we think about it and we think, oh man, it's so hard. Things are so hard right now. And I fall into this too. I find myself in these real dark places sometimes because, I'm not exactly happy with what I did with my life so far. And I tend to get down on myself. And sometimes I'll sit here and think, Chris, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life right now? Why haven't you made more for yourself? Why do you have to scrape by? Why do you have to scrape for everything you have? And then I catch myself and I say, you live in a palace. I mean, this is a small apartment, but it's a palace compared to what some people in the world live in. You get to do what you love every day. You get to talk to people you really love every day. You have the girl of your dreams. But still, I'm so hard on myself. And I think it helps to go back and to really think about what other people had to endure. I was just reading a book about Chesty Puller, actually. It's right here. And it's his biography. And it's the story of Chesty Puller. And it's by Colonel John T. Hoffman, U.S. Marine Corps Reserve. And we think of Chesty as like being born a Marine, born with a K-bar between his teeth and, born for the Marine Corps. But when you read his story, you actually see he was in the lower half of his OCS class. And he actually got the pizza box in boot camp. He was not a very good shot. And then he got all the way through OCS. And what happened was, by the time he got through OCS, World War II was coming to an end. And he was basically told during the speech at OCS by the Commandant of the Marine Corps that everybody in this class was not going to have a position in the Marine Corps. They were going to have to go home and go find civilian jobs. He said, you're all Marines, but we don't need you, so go home and get a civilian job. But always remember what the Marine Corps taught you. And Chesty's sitting there like, fuck, I really want this. So what did Chesty do? Chesty found an opportunity, because there were still conflicts going on in Haiti, to join the Gendarme d'Haïti, right? As a United States Marine, but he had to get reduced from being a lieutenant all the way down to being a private. And then I think they gave him a corporal's rank, but he was reduced from being a lieutenant down to becoming a private. And he said, I want to be a Marine so bad, and I want to lead Marines so bad someday that I'm going to do this. So he went down to fight the revolutionaries in Haiti as a private, or as an enlisted Marine. Gave up his commission. And after that, I think he got his commission back. I can't remember exactly how he got his commission back, but it wasn't like this straight line. I've got to read more of the book. It wasn't like this straight line. He would get his lieutenant's bars, and then get knocked down, and then he'd get his lieutenant's bars again, and then get knocked down, and then right back up. I mean, the point there, in the very confusing way I told that story, I'm not a very good storyteller. The point there is to say that it didn't come easy for him. He had to go through some hoops in order to get what he wanted. He had to be creative to get what he wanted. And he had to really, think outside the box. And it was a matter of will. It wasn't a matter of, him being on this path of fate and destiny. He made conscious choices to get to where he got, and in becoming probably the greatest Marine of all time. And similarly for us, if we want something, we've got to think outside the box. We've got to be creative. We've got to test our will as to how bad we want it. If you've got an obstacle in front of you and you say to yourself, you know what, I'm not going to go through that obstacle, then you never deserved it in the first place. But on the other hand, if you are currently struggling and you're on that path, you're on that journey, just think back to someone like Chesty, who took chances, took risks, and eventually got what he wanted. And in fact, read the story of any entrepreneur. Read Arnold Schwarzenegger's story. This has nothing to do with the Marine Corps or the military, but everybody thinks of Arnold as just coming here from Austria and just making it. Arnold didn't make his money off of bodybuilding. He made it because he was a businessman. He had a construction business and a masonry business. And so he made his first million before he ever became an actor, or before he ever became Mr. Olympia. And it was because he was thinking outside the box. He said, I want to do this, but I can't make money doing it, so I got to figure out a way to make money. And I got to figure out a way to become successful, so I'm going to do this. And then after he did that, he figured out his way to becoming an actor. He made the right connections. He called people. He, put himself in the right place at the right time. There is no luck in Arnold Schwarzenegger's story, though a lot of people might think there's luck. There's not. There's probably a bit of ruthlessness. There's probably a bit of, him having to step over people. But he got to where he is today and where he got to because of his ability to think outside the box and get what he wanted. So, again, for all of you out there who are struggling, who are trying to figure out where you're going in life, who are trying to figure out what you're trying to do, you have to really sit there and analyze yourself. Do I have the will to do this? Have I expressed the will to do this, right? That's important. Have you expressed it? Have you tried hard enough? Have you actually tried hard enough? Or have you just been depressed about it and not really done anything? Have you been in your own dark space so much that you can't realize how little work you've put in? Sometimes it takes a little bit of snapping yourself out of it. Sometimes it takes a little bit of honest self-assessment to really think about how much you've sacrificed. And I can tell you that I'm not where I want to be because I haven't worked hard enough. I haven't, and that's straight honest truth. There's a lot I could have done to be a more successful trainer that I wasn't willing to do. And so the reason why I'm not in the fitness industry anymore was because I didn't have the will to do what it took to be at the top of the training industry or the fitness industry. In some ways, I'm happy with that because a lot of that was contrary to my own ethics. But at the same time, I can't complain about it. I have to get to where I want to go according to my own path and according to my own journey. And I always have to remember that I am on a journey. I'm not going to magically end up there. And I'm not going to get there by sitting here and feeling sorry for myself. Sorry for being all over the place. Hope you got something out of this. I love you all. Peace.